Last episode, we had ourselves a pretty dang good draft after missing out on the generational third base prospect, Covey. We still got ourselves 99 potential in the first round. Got a lot of pitching depth after that. They're not all perfect, but I think we helped our pitching for the future. But now it's time to take a look at somebody we took in the year one draft class in Brian Doe, who is having himself quite the first professional season of his career. There are some that think he should even be in the majors already, and I think he certainly has some weaknesses that are a little bit too apparent for him to be at the major league level, but he has certainly impressed so far. There have also been a couple other suggestions for Brian Doe to change his drip a little bit and maybe even change his batting hand. So seems the comment section is interested in Brian Doe, as they should be. We just selected him with the 37th pick, and he is he is our best outfielder for the future. Has gotten his potential raised up to A due to his strong season, and so not having himself the best game here in our first spotlight look at him as a hitter, but very hopeful for Brian Doe's future. Striking out on the slider here. I think he could definitely be somebody that we look to promote to AAA at some point this year. At the very least, he'll be starting up at AAA next year. But just in general, I like to be a little bit more patient with my players. Guys like Murillo still in the minors, as well as like Dolander, who I think if you just look at their ratings, maybe should be at the majors. I just like to make sure a player is ready. I'd rather be a little bit late than a little bit early and stunt their development. Doe gonna get a hit there. It's that one to drop in center field. The first hit we've seen from him. Not the best, but when you're on a cold streak, as he is coming into our spotlight games, you'll take what you can get. Here, though, gonna ground out to end the inning. The thing with Doe's ratings is, despite the fact that he has been playing well in simulation, I think that low contact and plate skills, you're seeing it here in these spotlight games, are gonna make it hard for him to produce when we actually watch him play. Just not quite getting these pitches squared up to the point where he can get really good contact on them and put some power behind it as well. But here's our third and final game. Watching Doe. Hopefully he can show us something right here. Over to shortstop, and he beats the throw. One of his big-time skill sets is his speed. He is our fastest prospect that we have in the organization. I think there are a lot of players that would be out there, but he beats it for the base hit. Bottom third now, nobody on. Finally lifts a pitch, but this time got a little bit too much underneath it and hit it right at the right fielder over there. Bottom five, struck well to left field. It is back and just short of a home run. I thought he might have hit a homer there. The tag out will probably mean that we won't get to see a replay, because the replay will be of the tag out. Yes, it was, but a great hit there from Brian Doe. So close to a homer, and gives him a multi-hit game. Should hopefully get him out of his current cold streak. Striking out there. Bottom nine, we're down 4. Gonna look at the cutter. Generous call, perhaps, but I mean, I can't blame them for wanting to get this game over. So overall, we were able to see a couple of hits here from Doe. Not able to showcase his power that got us so excited to draft him at 37 last year, but very excited for his future. Let's transition now to AAA, where we have a couple of batters that we're going to watch here at the same time because they go back to back in our order. Starting here with Zach Veen, who will start his prospect highlight with a single to center. The other being Ethan Salas, of course, the big trade to acquire him last year at the trade deadline. He currently has the highest potential on the entire team, at least until Jose Barreto makes it to our team in the offseason. Veen there, going to drive in a run with that single down the third base line. Just smoked that one. A little bit of a worm burner past the glove of third base. Seeing Wyatt Langford out there playing for the Express, one of the most exciting young prospects in real life. As is Ethan Salas here, who gets that hit through the infield. Not going to pick up an RBI there, but it will load the bases. Both guys having themselves pretty good games here, showing off some contact skills. Salas, obviously, one of the biggest parts of our future on the entire team. Veen grounding out here, top of the fifth. Salas down 0-2. He looks at that fastball inside the zone for strike three. Good pitch there by Bradford. Top of the seventh now. Isotopes up 3-1. Veen hits it right at the pitcher, who gloves it and gets him out to end the inning. Top of the eighth. Now it's Ethan Salas' turn. And a routine play made by over at third. So good starts to the game, but a little bit of a rough finish, and the Express would actually come back and win this game. Unfortunately for us. But let's see if we can get some more good hitting by these guys. Hopefully some extra base hits. We're seeing a lot of singles today, but not a lot in the power department. So far, just that one Brian Doe hit. 2-2 count for Zach Veen. That is a beautiful fastball high in the zone. Salas will strike out swinging after that. Isotopes down 1-4 here. Veen lifts this to left field. Snagged easily by Langford. 2 gone here, top of the fourth. Salas up, pitch number 50. Is going to get through the infield. Another single here for Salas. As much as we want to develop his power, he has shown a lot of promise so far in contact. It's where he's seen a lot of his development, particularly, surprisingly enough, against the lefties this year, is his biggest, rise. Isotopes down big now as Salas goes down swinging. Top of the ninth, we're getting smoked. Veen. Pop fly into the infield, handled by the catcher. We've got one more play here. Salas going to get beamed by that pitch. Let's fight him. MLB The Show would be an even better game if we could have fights. I understand why it's not in the game, but that doesn't mean it shouldn't be. Salas hitting 284 so far in the year. That one's going to be fair and snagged at first base. Nice play made by Krim over at the first base spot. I didn't think that one was going to be fair. Veen, top of the fourth. Still a scoreless game, and he strikes out looking again. He's seen some pretty good pitches for strike threes. Salas into the outfield, finds the gap. Should be extra bases for him. Finally, we see a little bit of that extra base ability. His 7th double in his time at AAA. Of course, hasn't spent the entire year at AAA. Has had some time in AA as well. It's like that. They're going to help him reach the majors. Another pop fly here to the catcher for Veen. So we'll have 2 on, 1 down for Salas. Good pitch to hit. He cranks it to the outfield. It is caught over at center field. Just could not quite find the gap. Was close to a big play that could have given us the lead. Down 8-6. Now Veen gets this past the glove of first base. Over off against the wall in foul territory. Veen slides into second safely. 15 doubles on the year for him as the second baseman phases through him on the base paths. But a lazy pop fly for Salas. He cannot drive in what would have been a pretty clutch run. Top of the 9th. Albuquerque up by a run. Veen deep back to left field and caught on the warning track by Langford. Another near homer. We have not seen a minor league homer this entire year. In fact, we haven't seen a minor league homer since episode 1. When Zach Veen gave us one. Salas with another double here, having himself a good game. Able to find that left center gap a couple of times. Almost found it a third time in this game as well. Isotopes pick up the victory here in this third and final AAA batting game that we're going to take a look at. Back down to AA now, and I want to talk about closer Jeff Ramirez. We have not talked about him really much at all because I often forget to check closers, but he has been very good at AA. Took him in the 5th round with A potential. I mean, it's exactly 90, so it's barely A, but his stats look really good. Already has a save count in the 40s this year with minimal blown saves. He's been an incredible closer. He's looking like he might not be too far away from his call-up. Not a lot of wiggle room here in the 9th, so we're going to have to see a clean game here from Ramirez. 1 down, 1 on, and a 1-run lead. Gil up to the plate for whoever this team is. I got to be honest, I don't know half of these minor league affiliate logos. First pitch just a little too high from Ramirez here. That Flames glove definitely sticks out. And that's even with blue being one of the colors of the team. I can only imagine when he gets to the Rockies how much it'll stick out then. Falling behind the count 2-1 here is Ramirez. Would love to get a double play and out of this game. Slider too low. Now in danger of allowing the walk. Three-one pitch popped up by Gil, and Drew Romo finds it for out number 2. Only need 1 more out from Ramirez to continue his stellar season. Add another save to his total. Harrell here, 1 hit on the day so far. Curveball well outside to start the at-bat. Pitch number 2 here is fouled off. Yard Goats just an out away from victory, but a home run could also put us in a position to lose. But I trust Ramirez here and the season he's having. High in the zone, lifted to center. Brian Doe settles underneath it and snags it for the final out of the game. Yard Goats win 3-2 here in front of the hometown fans. solid performance from Ramirez. The Rumble Ponies, what a name, man. These minor league baseball team names are creative. My favorite is the Trash Pandas. But anyway, Ramirez, one more closeout situation here. Got 2 men on base, but the 4-6-3 double play ends off the game, adding one more to the save total for Ramirez. Just a one-pitch critical situation. That's what we turned on here on Double-A to get a chance to see Ramirez play. Tuned in for a single pitch, and he got the save. 7 hits for the Rubber Ducks, but no runs scored. That will bring us to September 1st and the end of the episode. The Rockies are 34-103. Our minor league affiliates are doing a little bit better, particularly Double-A, who has been very good this year. But let's take a look at just the state of our roster. I like to give an update anytime we simulate, a substantial amount of time in an episode, how people are developing. And Rafael Murillo has just dominated Double-A competition. September 1st, we got to think about some call-up situations. And I think it's time to get Murillo his debut at the MLB level in September. He's already 81 overall. He was really good in Double-A. He's been even better in Triple-A. 1100 OPS. Already a 3 WAR. He leads the team in WAR and hasn't even been there the entire season. Hasn't even picked up 200 at-bats. Chase Dolander, another guy who I think is a very strong candidate to be a September call-up. Another guy who's just impressed anytime he's been given an opportunity to. His pitching WAR is 3.9 this year. So I think he's ready for a call-up at 23 years old. Salas, I think, will have to wait one more year, but he's looking really good. Going up across the board for the second consecutive year. Hasn't had anything going down. Elsewhere with our prospects, Zach Veen on a hot streak up to double-digit home runs. Still losing 4 power versus righties, but actually hitting pretty well against lefties this year. So I guess just getting more well-balanced, but I'd like him to at least get a little bit better against hitting righties at 23 years old now. Thompson has just had a really, really good year contact-wise, +7 contact versus righties for him. At age 23, I think he's getting close to a call-up, over 1,000 OPS. Could even get a spring training invite, though I don't think he'll be a September call-up this year. I just think there are better alternatives. Kyle Brown is up to 70 overall. His power is going up, but his contact and vision is going down. Don't love to see all this red. And 634 OPS, you'd hope better than that. Negative WAR player at Double-A, despite being probably one of the higher overall players in Double-A. So I just think we're going to have to accept not a great first year for Kyle Brown. Hopefully he brings it back. I mean, Sterling Thompson was not great last year. He turned it around in a major way, had a strong year at both Double and Triple-A. Got to kind of hope for that kind of turnaround from Kyle Brown. Brian Doe got out of that cold streak in a big way and is now on a hot streak, up to 70 overall, +10 contact versus righties, +5 power versus righties this year. His power versus lefties not going up, but his contact is. +5 discipline is really nice. Really need to work on that arm if he ever has hope, I think, of being a center fielder. Otherwise, he's kind of just be stuck in left field in his career, and maybe even DH with an arm that weak. But you don't want to put that 72 fielding and 74 reaction at DH if we can help it, for sure. Just going right on down the list with our high potential prospects, we've got Michael McGaffick up next. That clutch going up 4 is good. That's what we were training him on this year. Other per 9s not going up as much as you'd want. Hits per 9 actually dropping by 1. So I think that's just a +2 overall for him this year, despite the fact that he's pitching pretty well. A 2.3 WAR here at AA. Maybe he gets the call up to AAA next year. You know, already at age 22, you want to see if he can get the call up soon. Next up down the list, we've got Drew Romo up to a 67 overall. I think he really turned things around once he got put down to AA. I think he was struggling at AAA, but looking better at the AA level for sure this year. Going up across the board for him, except for speed, which isn't super important for him. Jeff Ramirez, just seen him close out a couple of saves for us. So runs per 9 is actually down 1, but walks per 9 up a lot, hits per 9. He's looking like he could be a long-term closing option for us with his 43 saves so far this year. And then almost through our prospects here. I don't think there's many left. We got Johnny Brennan. Struggled this year at AA, although I wasn't expecting much of him here in this first season. We trained him all year to try to get that stamina up. It has not gone up once. So we're going to take his training off of his, it was like durability and stamina. His durability is up 3, but it's not helping his stamina at all. So I think we just got to transition here to his per 9s for this month and then into next season. And that's going to wrap up our prospects. But let's take a final look here at the Major League team. Ryan Bliss. He's having a good year. He was the All-Star for us this year. Didn't check that during the All-Star break, but up across the board, up to a 73 overall. I think he stays with the team next year. He's been good enough. He's been an above average player with a 1.1 WAR. Smeltzer continues to be a good pitcher for us. Underwood, a solid closer. They've been solid all year, both of them. Overton, continuing to struggle the more the season goes along. He had a good start, though. Kevin Newman has probably been our best batter this year. 31 years old, though, and he's going to be a free agent next year. So do we bring him back? I think there's still a good chance just because, you know, he was our best player this year, and there's still going to be room for him, you know, against lefties at least, to be a platoon second baseman with that 92 contact versus lefties. Good vision and clutch as well. And Cerny was really hoping he could be a decent leadoff hitter for us with his high vision and decent contact, but his contact's going down after hitting below the Mendoza line. But you know, the speed on the fielding is still there for him. Still just 25 years old. Maybe we bring him back, but he has been pretty bad for us this year. Beck had maybe some upside, but hasn't shown it so far this year. Same with Enlow. Locklear, thought he was maybe going to be a little bit better power with that power in the 60s. It is up 4 on the year with his 15 home run season, 16 doubles, 1 triple. Was maybe hoping for at least a 20 home run season from him, though. Colby Thomas, unfortunately, just could not keep that hot start going for him. I mean, looking at his ratings, I'm not surprised. This is not a guy that you'd think would have a ton of success hitting at the MLB level, but he started well. But still has big potential, still just 24 years old, could turn into something. Max Anderson, same thing. We probably keep him. But there's the snapshot of how things are as we head into the final month. I think I have a pretty good idea as to who the 2 players we're going to be adding to the 40-man and to the MLB roster. But if you have any opinions, let me know. And we'll likely end off the season, 34 and 103. There's no reason to drag this season out, but there are a couple of exciting debuts upcoming here in our draft-only franchise, and those debuts will be coming soon. And I will see you then. Go Rockies.